Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the campfire. A little bit of an audio change. Just kind of give us a little bit of mood for today. I know it's been so long since my last writing stream or storytelling stream, but better late than never, I always say. Welcome one and all. As always, my name is So Wesson, coming to you from Wesson Farms. Welcome one and all. And to everyone who's new around here, what I pretty much do is I have a couple of what I like to call stories that either I myself have come up with or they've been told by many generations. And I like to share them with y'all. So hope y'all don't mind. Now, I actually got 2 stories lined up for today, or this afternoon, for a lot of us. For some of us, it's late at night, and the others, it's early in the morning. And on a Friday in the morning. Ain't that right? Y'all made it to Friday. Some of us are still lagging behind, but eventually we'll catch up. Now, well, the 2 stories I have for y'all are Fins in the Sand, a classic one. I said that I read earlier in the channel's early days, like the first storytelling stream. Well, it was more like telling the story at the end of the stream, because I think I played a certain game. And then I told the story afterwards, so I wanted to have it on archive for y'all to listen to. Just kind of its own little standalone. Maybe I'll record it later with like better audio and all that, but we shall see. But the 2 I have for y'all are Fins in the Sand, and as well as The Story of Purpose. I hope y'all get your drinks or special beverages, and then kind of get cozy, get close to the campfire, and then we'll begin. Alright, so let's kick things off with Fins in the Sand, alright? So, Fins in the Sand. On the land where the sun cooks the ground and the path of every creature is categorized, there once was a legend that has passed to many years. Upon this land there was a fear that kept all breathing things from trespassing on the scorched land. Some who walk this earth to see the terror would often melt away like the very sands that terrorize them. Those who could talk would say that anyone who placed a foot on the sand will be the next target of the trauma. It was said the trauma would take on many forms depending on the fears of an individual. It favored fears that one would not normally think to be nearby, such as a tiger or something from water. This creature had no bounds in its ability, and in turn the offspring from this monster thrived as equal as their mother, as until a weird traveler and his companion entered the trauma's territory. This traveler was a blind fisherman who desired to cross the sands to a new ocean that many fishermen bragged to elaborate catches. But due to his limits of sight, he needed a friend to be his guide. He negotiated with a soldier who promised him safe passage in exchange for his finest catch. This soldier was known to be brave and faced countless beasts in his time, but his biggest fear was the water. Yet he always desired the taste of well-seasoned and cooked fish. Eager to begin, the blind fisherman recruited the soldier. Many begged the 2 to not make the journey, for neither of them would survive. The 2 ignored the pleas and set out on horseback through the sandy lands into the heart of the trauma's lair. All was peaceful when they first entered, with the fisherman whistling tunes while the soldier kept his eyes forward to their destination. That is when the sands began to shift, like waves approaching a shore. The soldier immediately felt fear of the sight, but the fisherman remained calm, for he could not see the sight. He could, however, sense the slants as if they were waves, and in his eagerness cast out his line. He assured his companion to not fear the waves, for it is the fish below that make them. The fisherman would then tug slightly at his line, feel for vibrations. Suddenly, he pulled with all of his might. A creature in the form of a snake and a large fin on its back was attached to the line. The soldier, his fears calm at the sight of the beast, drew his sword and cleaved the beast in half. It let out a hollow shriek as it whipped violently in the air, with its very body turning to sand as it hits the ground. The two travelers carry on like this, the fisherman catching a trauma and the soldier cleaving them and releasing their souls from the mortal world. By the time the two reached the end of the desert, the sands no longer shifted like waves. The only thing that was left behind were the fins of sand left behind by the carcasses of the trauma they slayed. It is said that the screams of the trauma would plague the land, which in turn stirs the sand to rest on the fallen fins. Such fins remain to this very day. Alright, y'all, that concludes this dramatic reading of Fins in the Sand. Hope y'all like that one. It's an all-time favorite of mine. Because, like, it was a story of, like, more along the lines of facing your fears. Also, makes a hike tip to certain geography in the world. I don't know if y'all know, but if y'all go to, like, sand dunes and all that, you just go over there, and, like, maybe, like, Death Valley or something. You look out there, what do you see? Dunes. What do they look like? They look like fins. Fins in the sand. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that one. Let's move on now. Alright, the story of purpose. Now, this one is a little bit in the works. It's a newer one to the channel. I hope y'all will enjoy it. Pretty much this story, the premise for it, is kind of being a leader. Well, that's the directive for it. Let me just get some water real quick. Oh. Well, pretty much, when y'all think of a leader, well, for me personally, when I see in a leader, I'll see someone who knows what they're doing, as well as someone who's willing to get their hands dirty, like, ain't afraid to jump into the fray and help people out wherever need be. That's a leader. Because when you think of a leader, don't think of someone as, like, your boss or your superiors. Don't think of anything like that. A leader is someone who gives trust to you and you give trust right back to. You know that they are willing to do what they can to help you out with your best interests in mind. And they'll do everything in their power they can. That's what this premise of this story right here is about. I hope y'all enjoy it. Alright, here you go. Within a forest landscape many years ago, there was a kingdom built with wood and stone. The people suffered as conflict spreads like a plague across the landscape. People cried for help every night in hopes to find light to their dreary world as bandits, thieves, and criminals take from their feeble hands. But from the ashes and the fires of conflict grows a sprout of hope. A simple villager whose true name has been lost in history, looked around at their distraught neighbors, and in one breath called out, "Enough!" All souls who heard this breath turned to the owner of the voice as they watched the villagers stomp to a burnt log of a home that was lost to a bandit's flame. From this home, the villager pulled a lid of a rain barrel that survived the blaze, and with the weeds around him, he fastened it to his arm. Everyone watched in awe as the villager worked, and almost as if in a trance, was cast upon him. When the villager completed their work, they held the lid over their head for all to see, and from the belly of their being shouted to the crowd, "Bringer of peace, bringer of hope, and bringer of defense is this shield. I will wear this honor and bring forth a life all souls need to thrive." From that day, many say that the clouds of suffering parted, and a new era began. The villager held that shield in their hand, and with it drove the corrupted from their home and brought tranquility that their neighbors deserved. Inspired by the villager, whom many called the bringer, other villagers departed from their homes to other settlements to liberate others from the dark forces. One of such was the bringer's only child. This child, in their eagerness to make their mark, left without talking with their parent. The bringer did not protest, nor call to their child to warn of dangers, for they knew it would be their destiny. Upon arrival to a neighboring village, the child requested to see the blacksmith, for they needed a sword to lead the villagers to peace. But the blacksmith had no metal, for it was all stolen by a gang of bandits who often terrorized the village. The child expressed their apologies and left to consult with the village carpenter in hopes to obtain a shield. But the carpenter has no shield on hand, for the bandits took all logs to prevent the villagers from rebuilding, and only leaving twigs and branches. It is here the child grew upset and spoke feeling of lost hope for the village, prepared to leave. But as they were about to depart, their eyes catch a glint. They turned to see a small child in the doorway of a burnt home. The child's face covered in ash, with a single tear drawing a clean line down the child's cheek. The tear gleamed in the sun, beckoning the bringer's child to stay. The traveler locked eyes with the child, and in one motion dropped their belongings and turned towards the village leader. "Bring me every soul willing to fight. The next raid by the bandits will be their last," the bringer child says. The following morning, the bringer's child is met with only 4 villagers. At the poor sight, the bringer's child began to feel lost once more, and in desperation wrote a letter to their parent. The following day, the bringer's child received a message that was written carefully and clear. "My child, do not request people without the will to fight in the combat. Many are afraid to die and will rather not have death arrive sooner than need be. However, where there is peace within a community, many will ignore the ideals of death as they take arms to preserve that peace." The bringer's child took the message to heart, and following day called the 4 villagers. "My friends, please go to your homes and neighbors and give them this message. Arm in the morning to build a life tomorrow. Fight today so that the newborn may walk tomorrow. Win tonight so that the peace will be a blanket for all who are loved." At these words, the 4 villagers leave and never return for the rest of the day. The following morning, the bringer's child is awoken by shouts from the village outskirts. They rise from the cot and grab a branch as they see a mob of bandits charging at the village. The bringer's child is alone as they stand their ground, having found peace and willing to die this day. That is from their back, another shout erupts as every soul from the village pours from their homes. Men, women, children. In their hands they held anything they could wield, and with the bringer's child, rushed to meet the bandits. The battle was fierce. The bandits, having been surprised by this new enemy, began to fall one by one. The bandits then turned and fled by the end of the clash. The villagers rejoice, as their world is now safe. The bringer's child raises their branch high over the head and calls to the soul who will hear. Victory of honor, victory of odds, and victory of unity is this spear. We have fought for our tomorrow, and tomorrow is home. And there y'all have it. Story of Purpose. I hope y'all enjoyed that one. It's kind of a newer one of the channel. Oh, it's a simple story, I'll tell you that. Oh, well, it's one of my favorite ones because, in reality, when all hope seems lost, there's always someone who rises to the occasion and says, no, I ain't falling. I ain't gonna let this day take me. And to those people, I tip my hat to. Because to them, they're the real reasons why we fight on this day. The real leaders. The trailblazers. And who knows, maybe y'all could be leaders as well. Just keep those words close. Alrighty then. Now, let's just make our way over here. And let's bring up an old friend that y'all have rightfully named Hooks and Hoes. Oh, I forgot about that one. Alright, let's just zoom in here so y'all can see what we got going on here. There we go. Alright. Hope y'all can see it. And see it all properly. Now. I hope y'all are really enjoying this. Like, I have so much fun with these type of streams. Because it's a simple life, right? It's very simple. I ain't complaining. Now. Get things organized right here. Okay. Now we'll start from the beginning, because this story y'all are helping me work with, and if y'all think the story should go in a certain direction, just let me know. Let me know. Don't be afraid. Don't be a stranger. Alright, now let's begin. The sun slinks past the village along the coastline. Dusk. Within this village there resided two groups, the farmers and the fishers. The fishers lived along the coast, along the cliffs, near the sandy shores, their boats rocking against the dock as each gentle wave passes by, their nets strung out and untangled, ready for another endeavor. The fishing captains make their way to the heart of the village to plan their next fishing grounds, while the greenhorns head off to catch freshwater fish. One of the farmers lived inland, away from the salty spray of the ocean. Their plows stationed to the proper place after a long day's work. As the daylight fades away, the green of their labor sleep under their earthly blanket. The experienced farmers converge to the town center for a late-night feast. The young field hands rush to the creek to cool off after baking the daylight rays. The greenhorns rest on the bank by the creek, watching their lines and hope to catch their prize. Their concentration is broken as the sound of feet and voices approach. They look up to see the field hands head their direction, whom they all glare at in disgust. The field hands been known to be rowdy, scaring the fish away at their recklessness. The field hands halt in their tracks as they see the greenhorns' lines in the water. Many of them spit at the ground as they crawl, pulling abandoned hooks from their skin, from the greenhorns' failed catches. I should probably add that. Greenhorns stand in protest against the field hands from entering the water. In response, the field hands vocalize their right to the creek and accuse the greenhorns of tainting it. In defiance, the greenhorns shout back obscenities to the field hands. In response, the field hands begin to push the greenhorns from the bank. Their pushes turn to shove. They shove, then turn to blows. The creek water splashes around the feet of the two groups as they brawl. Drops of blood drip into the clear water as hate is unleashed. The fight spills away from the creek as the two groups limp towards the town center. At the sound of the scuffle, the fishing captains and farmers look out to see the young ones fight in the streets. Many try to separate them, but they in turn join the fight. It is not long until every able-bodied farmer and fisher fought for supremacy in this town square. People on both sides limp away from the fight to clean and bandage their wounds before rushing back to help their brothers and sisters. But those who were wounded the most fell to the knees and were trampled by the stampede of feet. As the sound of the scuffle in the town square, the leader of the village steps from his home, only to see his friends and neighbors engaging in battle. He summoned the village guard, who responded with swift and quick justice as they pulled the two groups apart. But even then, the fishers and farmers shout at each other as one by one they are pulled from the fray. It was through these words that the sky began to cry. The drops from above soaked the landscape and everyone out from every corner. It was even said that the tears of the village leader joined the water-covered earth as the farmers and fishers were pushed back to their working grounds. The following day, the sky was clear as could be, and the town square a mist from the scuffle. The square was divided by a line of the village grounds, anticipating the return of the fight from both sides. The line extended beyond the border of the village, splitting the community in half out of fear of more injury. Here and there, a farmer or a fisher would approach the line and shout over the rows of guards to vocalize their anger. Even then, both sides committed to their work and carry on with their day. In the meantime, the village leader summoned the heads of the farmers and fishers to his quarters. The head of the farmers is a tall man with muscles as firm as the ground he walks on. His clothes are always covered in dirt due to him helping each piece of farmland every day. He wears these covered clothes like a badge of honor, saying that the earth on his attire is the love from the earth that he harvests from. The farmers respect him the most not due to his physical nature, but due to his honest and direct nature. He loves his brothers and sisters equally and will do anything to keep them safe and reap a good harvest. The admiral of the fishers is a stern captain with many legends and stories behind her name. One such story was her journey to catch a predator that hunted the fishing grounds. Some say she caught the monster with her first cast. Others say she dove into the water and took the fish on herself. Though her height does not match close to the head of the farmers, she carries herself as if she towered over everyone. Naturally, she has always had a wild look in her eyes. To such tales, the fishers do not question her orders nor complain. She operates the naval charts to ensure that all fishers get fair catches and that all their needs are met. Alright. So right here, let's be sure to save it now. This is where we begin. This is where it all starts to construct, alright? Oop. Had a little spike there. You okay? Everything okay? Alright. Everything looks alright. What's up? Three individuals sit at a square table as talks begin. Alright, let's break this down. Let me see. What should be the name of the former? The leader of the formers. Field chief now. No. The head of the formers. No. Let's stop. Let's have the leader of the village. The village leader places. Oh well. And with the leader, the farmers. With the head of the farmers and the admiral sitting across from each other. Not uttering a single word. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Holiday. The village sits. Places one hand on their side of the table and keeps them there. Showing his equal treatment showing equal respect of the two heads of the village. Alright. My friends, the leader begins. I have seen this village through many quarrels. Is that how you spell quarrels? Let's see. Quarrels. From the drought that starved our crops waves that to the waves that destroyed our docks. But from the events the previous day, I am unsure. Oh, actually, but from such events are the actions of Mother Nature. That I cannot control. In which I cannot control. Then the struggle that cursed us the previous day was not an action of Mother Nature, but that of spite between neighbors. The leader said, the village leader says, as, let's see, eyes glance between his two friends. I ask you both in all honesty, what transpired for what's transpired for such hate to lead to bloodshed on our front door. The head of the farmers crosses his arms and locks eyes with the admiral. Challenging her to make the first move. In response, Admiral's lip rises into a sneer. As she clears her throat. No, as she turns her attention No. As she accepts the challenge. It must be known the mud kickers how should this go? Have not been giving the right respect for the sea. And the creatures in it. The dirt they shift her around. Blocks rivers. And any water used for their filters comes tainted and plagues the sea. To the point actually, we need to get back on top of here. I have spoken to the greenhorns. What happened at the riverbank? They say leaded out of the defense of the freshwater fish. That river is the only running source fish to spawn. And supply a new generation for the sea. I don't like that. Young mud kickers only see the river as their personal as a personal toy and in turn scare the fish from bringing the new generation. Let's see, and then the head of the farmers slaps his hands on the table, emitting a hollow vang that echoes emitting a hollow bang that through the halls of the what's it called? What's the of the town hall or the what do we call it beforehand? We're the village leader's home. Lies. He bellows. My field hands and farmers respect the fish. Or they are part of nature. Just the same as the crops we grow. It is you and the sea folk who disrespect it. He says as he points his finger at the admiral. Let's say he rises. Slaps his hand on the table. Okay. Let's say this too. Admiral sends a response. Leering at the accusation. The river fishing equipment. My farmers complain of getting tangled in line. And suffer from injuries by abandoned hooks left behind. The plane of the sea folk aims to defending nature, but in reality they are to blame. They are the ones to blame. Ones at blame. Or get. That's better. Alright. Okay. Idea I think is going pretty well. Alright. The leader head of the village. No. The leader of the village. Plans and places one on heads of the village. Emotions am to sit. He gently pushes them back down to their seats. Both the head of the farmers and the admiral without breaking eye contact with each other, do so willingly. Or my friends. Leader says with a shake of his head. What has become of you two? I do recall there was a time your successor you looked at each other with respect and admiration. I like that. Now, what could we do from here? Think. Well, we're gonna take a little step back, kind of reflect on this. I just like to take this moment. I've been debating a while, because I know I've been seeing a lot more VTubers going to Twitch and all. I know this is completely out of left field, pun intended. But I would like to give Twitch a shout. I would really like to. Even though I like having all my videos archived here, I think there might be a feature for me to download the whatever was streamed, and I could just repost it onto my YouTube, so it'll be archived. But unfortunately, y'all won't be able to see the comments though, so we'll see what I can do to try to get that figured out. We shall see. We shall see. Because, when I look at archives on YouTube, I like looking to see when people came in, when people are having a good time. But we shall see. We'll give its day in court. Alright. Also, I think, let's wrap it up for the day. We did our dues. We did our dues today. Alright, let me just call that quits. I hope y'all like the new ambiance we had now. Oh, sorry, y'all. Okay. We're gonna call it a day. I might actually come back again later on, but on Twitch. So stand by for that. We might have a spontaneous stream later today. Thank you everyone who stopped by, all new and old faces. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope y'all had a good time as much as I did. And as always, this is So Wesson. And hope wherever you are in the world, hope y'all have a pleasant morning, a nice afternoon, and good night. Y'all come back now.